Hello, this is Jer, and this is my fifth tip for playing Oxygen Not Included. Every tip so far has been about setting up the game or surveying. This is the first tip that actually involves playing the game. So in the last tip I told you, have a look around your base, find out a potential nature reserve, and make a plan for where you want to build things. So I decided I want my living area to be here because I want to have this nature reserve to sit in front of it. So what is the first tip when we actually start playing Oxygen Not Included then? The tip is at the end of the first cycle, make sure there's a place for the dupes to relieve themselves and sleep. So these dupes will work all cycle long, but they want to have a place to be able to use the washroom comfortably and then sleep comfortably. You can't build anything without material though, so you need to start off by digging some things out. In this case, I've got sandstone. You may notice that the amount of material here, it says 700. When the dupes dig that out, just for planning purpose, it may be useful to know that that is cut in half. Just the inefficiencies of their little digging gun that they have. Anyways, that is going to be a useful thing to know as you're playing this, trying to determine how much material you're going to get from digging things out. So as I mentioned earlier, I want to have a place for the dupes to sleep and use the washroom. So I'm going to have two floors, one place for what's going to be called a barracks, and then the second place, the latrine. That's where the dupes are going to relieve themselves. So I'm going to have the latrine right here and the barracks up here. So the dupes will use the washroom at the end of the cycle here, and this is where they're going to sleep. And this is always the goal I have for cycle 1 of every single playthrough of Oxygen Not Included. Let's look at some of these buildings that I can build. I can build an outhouse. We definitely want to have this at the end of cycle 1. That's going to sit over here. But if I want to create that in a room, there's this idea of rooms that exist over here, and these are all the different types of rooms, and it tells you the requirements. We'll go over the two that we're going to try to get right now, latrine and the barracks. Where is the barracks? Right there, and that gives a morale bonus when the dupes use it. So that is the reason for setting that up, is we can easily up their morale. Now if we want to have this as a room, this material here, oxylite, it's really awesome. It releases oxygen, but it disappears slowly. So we want to make sure we've got tiles to cover that fact. So we can do that right there. Oh, awesome. I see Miner has dug out some copper. That's one of the materials we need to build a special thing. So I can't buy or build these doors without a little bit of metal. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put a door here and here. I'm also planning to put this column up like this. That goes up and down in the future. That's why I'm putting the door specifically in this place. So up here is the barracks. Down here is a latrine. What's the requirements for a latrine? Is I need at least one wash basin and one outhouse. And it just needs to be a certain size. I'm going to verify what that is. It needs to be between 12 and 64 tiles. And I want more than one outhouse anyways, so we'll have more for that. Ideally, I would have 3, one for each of the dupes. So if we get this built, then this should give us a room for the dupes to relieve themselves. And because it's a latrine, when they use it, they're going to get a morale bonus, which is nice. And then up here, I'm going to place cots. It's got to be one for each of the dupes. I'm going to put one here, here, and here. Now, this isn't going to be built correctly unless I put a tile right there, so I'm going to do that. And the reason that I'm putting it this far away, you may not see any right now, so we're okay. But if there were any shine bugs like you that made their way down here, they would emit light up to this distance away. So as long as you have your cots 4 tiles away, it doesn't matter if there's any shine bugs, because the dupes wake up at night if they have any light hitting them, which kind of makes sense. No one likes to sleep with the light on. So if you get nervous, here's another little tip with the cycle 1, and you don't think you're going to achieve this, one thing you can do is just go into the schedule and move everything over such that they work a little bit longer. Maybe we'll cut their breakdown for the first day, but we'll try to make that not be the case if we at all can. So here are 3 outhouses. Not enough just to build them, but someone has to go in and deliver dirt, or else they can't actually be used. The other option, and I might talk about this in another tip, is to only build 2 of these and put 2 dupes per schedule, but we'll speak about that. Looks like this dupe doesn't have anything to do. We'll make sure that the dupes have something to do when they're doing this. There, we have a barracks and a latrine. Here's our barracks. It's going to give us a +1 when they use it, and I've got 1 cot for each of the dupes. Down here, I've got a latrine, and I've got a +1 morale to the dupes when they're using that. That is my first tip. For the rest of the time, I'm just going to dig out some material. Maybe we'll get a path over here to access water. And what we'll do is we'll watch the dupes use these rooms just to verify everything works out. But if you've got a barracks and a latrine and a place for all the dupes to sleep at cycle 1, I think you consider that a successful start to playing Oxygen Not Included. A lot more to go from here, but that's going to give us a good place to start with. Alright, the dupes are now on break. First thing they'll do is run to the washroom. So there's 1 outhouse for each of them, so they don't have to wait. They can all relieve themselves at the same time. That felt better. Next thing they're going to do is grab some food. They don't have a nice place to eat. They're going to sit on the floor, but that's something we're going to do on a different cycle. Nice thing is the game provides you with enough calories to exist in the beginning, and this oxy light is providing us with oxygen. Otherwise, my priority might not be on this. Well, there it is. The dupes are going to sleep. We just have to wait for one slowpoke scientist that's making their way out. Thank you for watching. Thanks anyone that liked the video, and hopefully I will see you in a future episode. Until then.